Hey there everyone, I am Jeff and welcome to one hell of a thrill ride right here on Tabletop Toolbox, where I'm beyond excited to tell you about the newest expansions to Tenpenny Parks Innovation and Winter Lights and Spooky Nights. Listen, I'm just going to come right out with it. Tenpenny Parks is one of my all-time favorite board games. Having logged hours at the controls of games like Roller Coaster Tycoon, this thematic theme park construction game charmed my credit card number right out of me the very first time I played it. Be clear here, Thunderworks didn't ask me to produce this video. I asked them if I could. Tenpenny Parks tosses players in a lightly wooded field before tasking them with building an amusement park that'll be the envy of the world. Using a sparse supply of workers, they'll purchase a variety of amusements, which they'll install into their parks, possibly clearing trees to make room or expanding the borders of their park, installing profitable concession stands, and, in a pinch, gaining funds at the bank. Along the way, they'll need to manage the thrill, awe, and joy of their visiting customers, fighting for position along these tracks for special bonuses each round. You're already seeing elements of worker placement and polyomino placement in Tenpenny Parks, but this is where I love to twist players' churros by explaining that as you place any of your tiles into your park, no two tiles can ever share a straight edge. That's right, all of your tiles can only meet at a corner, which means you will be challenged to make the most efficient use of your space and your limited actions through each of the 5 rounds of play. Of course, hopefully you're doing all of this for a healthy profit, because while your rides themselves don't make any money, you can install stores and concession stands throughout your park to help bring in some extra cash each round. Now, I mentioned that your amusements don't make money, but they certainly still provide some value. At the end of each round, you'll have the opportunity to advertise each one of your rides, exchanging that hard-earned cash for sweet, satisfying victory points. I am a big fan of theme in my games, and Tenpenny Parks has always delivered. Even when I caught rumor of an expansion in the works, I really couldn't imagine what else designer Nate Linhart would think to add. Well, let me be the first to invite you to step right up, folks, and experience innovation. This track, added to the bottom of the board, will give you new things to discover in Tenpenny Parks. Each player will have a researcher starting on the left side of this track, and in each round of play, they must use one turn to move their researcher one space along this track, covering all 5 spaces during the 5 rounds of the game. The first spot on each track awards players an improvement, providing points at endgame. The second spot provides a specialist, which will allow them to break one of the game's rules. The third space grants a new and unique park landmark expansion. The fourth slot bolsters your position on the emotion tracks, and the 5th spot lets every player build any one amusement for free. Admittedly, moving a worker up a track isn't exactly exciting, but luckily for you, these rewards are. Maybe you could double your income from concession tiles, maybe you could double up on a worker placement spot, or maybe even ignore the golden rule about tile adjacency. As I mentioned, each player must take one action per round to advance on this track, but as always, fortune favors those who, well, hurry the hell up, because the sooner you move up this track, the better that movement is for you. The first player to each of the first 3 spots will get to choose from the top 3 options of each improvement, specialist, and landmark tile, discarding the ones they don't choose from the game. The second player gets 2 options to choose from, and all remaining players simply get what's on top of the stack. On round 4, players will get to move up all 3, just 2, or just 1, respectively, of each of the 3 emotion tracks. Now, in the final round, there is no benefit to being first to build your free amusement, so it'll be up to you to time it to grab something you really want. What I love about this expansion is that it simply lets players do more and score more with their park, without adding very much in the way of new rules to learn or new fiddly bits for players to worry about. And nothing makes that more evident than the supply supply of 10-point tokens included in the box. This expansion is all about achieving new high scores. But hey, while I was preparing for this video, I went out and checked some of the reviews of Tenpenny Parks on BoardGameGeek, and one comment I saw a time or two was players wishing there were more rides to build. Well, do I have good news for you? Because Innovation also includes 15 new amusements to include in your parks, some of which are dual-themed. These are purchased and placed just like any other amusement in your park, but at the end of the game, they count as each of the 2 symbols on their card for any scoring goals. But yes, again, I hear you, Jeff, you say in twitchy anticipation. 15 new amusements isn't enough for me. I want more! Then you'll want to hear about Winter Lights and Spooky Nights, the second combo meal available on the menu. There are 2 separate expansions in this box, each of which can be used with or without Innovation, and all 3 can be combined at once if you're one of those who buys your skeletons and your holiday wrapping paper all at the same time. You freak. Winter Lights adds a track at the top of the board, Christmas trees to place in your park, and a single Christmas-themed ride added to each of the decks of themed rides from the base game. If you build one of the Christmas-themed amusements, or if you build anything adjacent to one of the Christmas trees in your park, you advance along this Christmas track. Each position along the track gives you, or one of your opponents, a little gift. That's right, with this expansion you might actually have to be nice to your opponents and celebrate some cheery gift giving. Of course, if you're more a fan of the macabre, you could instead make things a tad more spooky. Spooky Nights adds an additional Halloween-themed ride to each themed deck from the base game. Each depicts a ghost token on their card, and there are also new dark concession stalls, as well as a ghost token placed on the $1 space on the central carousel. Whenever you place anything with these ghost symbols or buy the amusement with the $1 modifier, you take the ghost meeple, not knowing the bonus printed on the bottom of the piece. You don't get these bonuses now. Instead, when you advertise your amusements at the end of each round, you'll choose one ghost to haunt each advertisement, gaining the benefits then. These smaller expansions add minimal upkeep to the already smooth gameplay of Tenpenny Parks, and generally just give players more opportunities to get points, get more money, or advance on the emotion tracks. The one thing I'll say here, especially with Innovation, is that the end game goals of the base game become much easier to obtain. For example, I've never managed the 10-point bonus for having 8 amusements in my park until I played with Innovation. The holiday theme expansion brings the scoring end of the emotion tracks better into reach as well, and this means that a lot of players are likely to score the same endgame bonuses, so the onus will fall on each player to maximize their advertising bonuses and personal goals during the game, as well as maximizing the rewards from the new improvement goals. Generally speaking, however, you're all going to see higher endgame scoring potential. I broke 100 points in Tenpenny Parks for the first time playing with Innovation and Holiday Lights. These expansions let players do more with what Tenpenny Parks already has to offer, without adding significant setup, upkeep, or additional rules. The thing is, this is a game about building an amusement park, and amusement parks are fun. Expensive, but, fun. When you play a game like this, you want to have fun. You want something that gets you as close to that experience of checking out that new ride or grabbing that cherished, woefully unhealthy junk food before blowing your last few bucks in a souvenir you'll likely forget about before you even get home. I have always felt that Tenpenny Parks was fun, so it goes without saying that being able to explore those fun aspects of this game even further is going to make these expansions a huge win for your next playthrough. You'll have a bigger park, you'll have more things in it, you'll have a more interesting park, and you'll have a lot more points. And as Innovation accelerates you through the game's mechanisms and the tension builds with the drop of the round marker on the main board, you may just find yourself raising your arms and screaming with excitement. Ah! Cheers. Whoa! That hurt. That hurt a little.